Angels, they were losing them with too much consistency, so they were getting punished on the edges, and then the rounds were going against them. Once they started to get into that flow and they started to feel their way back into the series, they looked a lot more solid over on that T side of things. So I think for Spirit, it's going to be a big mountain to climb, to say the very least.
Yeah, well, I mean, again, forZe went down 6-1 initially, then went down 15-7 after ending the first half on 7 as well. So they ended up just kind of getting walked over in that game versus Sprout in the beginning of each half. So they never really got they definitely can't let that happen, rather, but they never really got the chance to warm up early on. If they can get going with a pistol around here, then that's when I think Spirit really do begin to worry. But Siren with a good opening on towards zorte, it gives some hope towards the CT side. Unfortunately, it doesn't last all that long. Shalfey and KENSI with 1 each, leaving Patsy now in towards Donut, and he's not able to withstand the pressure as he gets overwhelmed. And honestly, with the time that's remaining with this 4-on-2 now, it just should be, I was going to say, a pretty straightforward round from this point forward, but they were already just thinking that bomb plant. Doesn't really matter. Chopper even just trying to take the fights from the temple, while his teammate was still unfortunately blocked in behind a smoke, so not even really able to work off of each other. And well, while the dual Berettas, as we said, are pretty useful on a map here like Ancient, they're not really what you want when you're coming in on that retake, not when you have those longer range angles to deal with. forZe kicking things off with a pistol round.
Getting to start on the T side as well, not something I actually thought about too much, but it was where they did the majority of their heavy lifting against Sprout, so opportunity to just maintain that momentum. Looking very clean into the pistol and hitting the A site on the pistol as well, which is something I like to see teams doing more and more now. You need to hit the A site on Ancient occasionally just to keep the CT side honest. If nothing else, just to make sure they don't stack the B bomb site all the time, because they know you're not going there. And getting it out the way on the pistol is something that seems to have started to creep its way into the meta, and it's a solid strat. The pistols with a little bit of utility at that kind of range look very clean, and well, zorte looking just as clean as he was last time we saw him on Ancient. 1 tap to the skull, magixx removed, and a B execute off the back of it. Chopper tucked into the wallbang corner, seeing if maybe he can get something. He has got a tagged up Norway to deal with first. There it is, but zorte again lightning fast on the trade. He's holding off this B bomb site as the rotations only now starting to bring the bombs. There will need to be a second string of utility to make sure it can transfer safely. That comes out, and at this point, I'd quite like to see Spirit saving. If I'm perfectly honest, I would like to see them holding on to these deagles. They scout instead, they throw them at it. It was a lost cause from the very beginning. degster, even hanging around a little while longer, does well to hit a nice 1 deag onto zorte, but he's quickly traded away. There's really very little to it. The AKs will be salvaged and recovered, and forZe have their second.
Yeah, not letting too much go either. A couple of casualties, obviously, but overall a clean enough round that they can be quite happy. And focused quite heavy on their rifles as well when they went in for the buy, so didn't really want to be losing very much. I don't think they got that gun back there, actually. So yeah, Jerry's still on the MP5. Either way, 4 AKs in this round, the 1 MP5 for Jerry to just try and build up bank, and only a single deagle even being upgraded there for Team Spirit, so I'm not expecting much, but they do have the full stack in place. Jerry's going to try and lead the way. degster just immediately rips off his head, and with a follow-up from Siren, which drops the bomb, suddenly things begin to look incredibly difficult for forZe. This is falling apart. The bomb not recovered either.
It's starting to get really rough now. They've boosted over the smoke. Norway has no idea. He's now started to realize it, and through the smoke he will find one, but zorte with 1 HP is left in the 1v2. Okay. They know they've got the bomb. zorte's got to be a little careful here. He is moving very quickly, and even a point of full damage will do him. Now, he's trying to bait the idea that he's rotated away, and they seem to have bitten onto that, at least for now. Both degster and magixx looking in that direction. zorte, though, isn't really looking to exploit it so much as just hold off and hope for over-aggression. Not being given any, he starts to make his move. This is going to be a very tough clear for him. magixx has tucked himself into useless. Full HP. No utility to flush him out. The bomb at the bottom of the ramp, and I think zorte has to consign himself to the save, in all honesty. He's going to tuck himself into a corner, back away from the fight. And the stack onto the B site of absolutely nothing but a handful of pistols has worked out beautifully. Spirit, off the back of near enough no investment, just dinking up players as they come their way, have managed to get themselves around on the board. And this is the problem for forZe. If you consistently target that B bomb site, the stacks will come. And at some point, you will just get overwhelmed by the fact you're trying to send 5 players up the ramp and there's 5 players ready to receive.
Yeah, and I mean, even Jerry was quite a bit ahead of the follow-up player that was going in with him, and I guess another pointer on top of that is the fact that the second player then had the bomb on his back, so it was strange. Definitely wasn't played out to perfection. Could have even had the bomb a little bit further back to allow for the bail to come in a little bit quicker. If they do walk into the stack, I mean, that's pretty standard, I thought, but yeah, I mean, it cost them in the long run. Now they're going to be coming through with a force buy, which is decent enough. 2 AKs, 2 Galils, and a Deagle. But it doesn't quite match up to the full set of rifles that Team Spirit have alongside all of the utility. Team Spirit in a good position to try and get things going here on Ancient and maybe to give us the chance for a 3-map series. I'd like to see it. Definitely would be an enjoyable experience, and, well, not really a good start, I've got to say. Zorte catches degster peeking through. Follow-up peek from Lamps as well for Chopper, not really given much to work with initially, but then it's the wall bang that actually works out for the trade frag.
Big trade to find as well. Zorte is again looking very, very crisp on this map. 3 players for forZe. Out in the lane, looking for a little bit of control. They have left shalfey with the Galil lurking out A. If he can find the headshot onto Siren, then this becomes viable, but that angle is such a nightmare for T-Sides to really hold on to. Jerry, on low HP, is going to try and be cheeky around the smoke, and he catches the timing. Chopper, I thought he was going to react to it, but he just can't quite get there in time, and now they know Siren is alone on that A site. As much as shalfey wasn't able to kill him, he spotted him out, so they'll start to swarm on his position. He's got a lot to do, but he gets the low HP lineup. 2 quick kills, keeps his chances of survival alive. He will go down. KENSI will be able to get the bomb down off the back of it, but it really is on his shoulders now. 2v2. Shalfey down on 36 HP. Drops a smoke to feign the idea that he's retreated the other way, but all the timing is everything. Patsy, did he or did he not spot the bottom half of KENSI as he rounded that corner? They don't have utility. They tap it once to bait the peek out. Shalfey needs to peek first. forZe just call their bluff. They don't peek anything at all. They just wait. If you're defusing it, fine, we'll save the AK and the Galil. If not, we'll swing later. KENSI now spots it out. That bomb's so far gone. Now they've got to stick it. Shalfey swings with perfect timing. Patsy, yes, he finds the trade, but he's low on HP and he's running out of time. Shalfey will get it done. It goes down to the last man. Shalfey even falls to the bomb itself, but it's forZe who have their third. The half by the bits and pieces work out beautifully, and that frag was the start of it all.
Yeah, I mean, Shalfey, big catch there as well, obviously on that first one, just about to take him off with a bomb, and at that point then there just wasn't really the time anymore, even with him trying to hop back onto it. So a big round win for forZe, and Spirit, I mean, they're desperate to make something happen, and, well, they had enough actually to pull out a double up setup, so this will be fun to see. Degster and magixx able to rock one. It's going to be Narvi who just tries to charge up this ramp once again. This time actually gets some initial damage on towards magixx before being overrun by Patsy. So it will be the actual first kill to go the way of Team Spirit here on the CT side. But with the health low on magixx and with the weapons still not too favourable, it's not the most comfortable position to be in still. I ideally look for a bit more on top of this if they can. I believe I've actually got some good aggression in, indeed, with a player deep in towards A main, so that in theory gives them the chance to stack up towards B. But for now, it seems like they're happy enough to keep things pretty standard here on the split.
magixx on a nice angle here. Low on HP, sure, but he's well posted. They don't really have the utility for the execute. Jerry has 1 smoke. That'll go towards the short lane and 1 molly to choose. 50 seconds left. CT's drop a smoke onto the ramp. That funnels them into this orb of magixx, who's low HP and burns with it. Oh, that is a critical kill. That had to come through, and it does. Flashbang will buy time for the rotation. Degster is now here. He posts himself on the cave ahead of the smoke. He'll find one. Trying to buy his team a lifeline, trying to do everything he can. Chopper finds another off the 5-7 before he's traded, and Patsy's here. The support lines are here. Degster continues to pick them off at the outliers, and Spirit have a second. This scrappy play, forZe are running into it time and again. They keep heading into that stack. They keep running into these 5-7s. And they're just not quite dealing with them. That's a big pick from Degster and the rotation to grab the finale. But again, you have to wonder if forZe just learn from their mistakes a little more. Don't send a man charging up that ramp quite so early. Maybe it's a different outcome.
Yeah, I mean, he only had a Mach 10 in fairness, but it still just isn't really necessary, as you were saying, especially with the fact that Team Spirit are playing pretty heavy towards B, as we've seen already, just because of the fact that forZe really have been focusing on that one side of the map. They're not really switching things up in these first few rounds. Been a bit predictable for sure. And, well, they've been punished pretty heavily off the back of actually losing that previous round. Before, we seen them pull out 2 AKs, 2 Galils, and still get a Deagle or whatever off the back of losing out the round. This time, most of them are facing even a double eco, so the force is going to have to come in. It'll be Deagles and Kevlar at most. There's going to be no rifles or anything of the sorts, rather. Meaning Team Spirit should be bringing things to a tied up scoreline and then likely even putting it in their favor. So not a bad position to be in. It looks like they have managed to win out the back and forth. The pause at the moment, though, I believe, is a technical.
Yeah, we'll just take a little bit of a chill pill. Look at the situation as forZe do opt to force up. Get their hands on a couple Deagles, a Tech 9. We've seen what Zorte can do with the Deag in hand, so certainly not a buy without some threat. Question is, what do they want to do with it? Back down to the single AWP setup into this one. magixx, of course, going down in the previous round. He's got to save Galil, dropped across to him. Not a bad little buy, though, for the CT side. Galil, FAMAS, 4A1S. Chopper picks up the MP9. degster, of course, primary AWPing. And what do forZe look to do here? Missed their early smoke to the lane. That's not quite landed where intended. They'll get away with it. There's no pressure coming in from the CT side as the swarm makes its way out of Midland. This is going to be an A-site split. Patsy, the first man to receive it in the zone up. 2 to deal with. Can't get either. Jerry on the Mach 10 spray down finds it. It's a nice little chip nade from Siren, and he'll be screaming for the rotation as fast as he can. He's running out of bullets on that 4A1S, but he's good for 2. Good for a third as well before the ammo runs dry. degster rotates in to back him up. And that initial frag looks like it is indeed. All forZe will get 1 kill to their name. Siren doing a fantastic job of anchoring down that A site for 3.
Yeah, it looked like he was running out of bullets there, but manages to just about react in time. And I think with the last bullet, even there, actually confirms the kill. So that got a little bit close, but Siren, he's looked impressive so far. What we've seen from him back on Nuke was fantastic in terms of entries, and here on Ancient, he's having a pretty solid start as well. As we mentioned, that was the force buy from forZe, so now they're on the complete eco with only a single Tech 9. It seems really being upgraded. 1 P250 as well, actually, on Jerry. Harder to spot those at a quick glance, as that nade is even going to do some pretty decent damage, just making things that bit much harder. So it's not really going too well, you've got to say. Again, also favouring on towards B. I mean, they've struggled to get in a couple of times, even with the weaponry. We'll see whether maybe even in towards the lamps they can just take it, perhaps a weapon away. I think that's more so the goal. They were hoping that there'd be someone up close and personal that they could deal with, and instead, when they eventually charge out mid, it's into Patsy who just mows them down, and Shalfey decides, nah, I don't want any of that. He's just going to charge into the sniper nest, hoping to catch someone else off guard who wouldn't be expecting it.
Gets a dink onto degster. Unfortunately, he didn't have something with an upgrade that would have done some more damage, but Spirit responding well to the threat at the moment. They're holding on to that B side. They're not giving forZe any room to breathe. Getting good chip damage with these nades. They're looking decent on the CT side of Ancient, you have to say. And for forZe, that might start to ring some alarm bells here. 3-4. Down by a round. As we mentioned previously, got a lot of their heavy lifting done over on the T side last time out. But they are actually a little bit of a CT-sided team traditionally, so we'll have to wait and see which way they lean on this occasion. As Spirit taking the early mid control with utility, it is going to be challenged through the flashbangs. KENSI and Jerry combining well for the first. Patty not able to find the refrag, falls back with utility. The man advantage, first time in a while you've been able to say it, is going the way of forZe.
Yeah, pretty firmly now. Yeah, and you weren't talking about the capital of Ireland, no? It's magixx, though. He's got a decent position. The problem is, I was going to say, with Zorte having crept up the ramp, he can't really keep his focus in on Cave. He gets caught instead by Zorte, and the entire time it's been just chilling over here and towards the sniper's nest, so he's good to slow down that rotation and take out one player. It's all on Siren. I mean, he's been pretty good so far, but I don't think he's really going to get much done in this 1-on-4, especially as the bombs, of course, being planted back on B, as shalfey was just trying to keep him busy that entire time. So 4th round for forZe, and importantly, it's a convincing one as well. They don't really let much slip away. They needed to try and get a bit of economy going off the back of an early gun round win, and that's what they've done. And one more actually would completely break the CT economy.
Big opportunity. Can they grasp it is the question. Zorte's got his AWP in hand. Rifles for the rest of the boys. The call is to put some early pressure over towards A, trying to walk into Siren and see if maybe you can get something with it. He's done a solid job of locking out this A site on the anchor roll. Was actually just starting to split away from it. One holding for the mid call, couple still lurking in the lane, not wanting to give it away for free. Jerry playing with fire there, does get some good tags onto Chopper. Lucky to dodge the bullets himself. Flash for his teammate to take the lane control. Just trying to pressure across the map at this point, and shalfey on the headshot angle, not able to find it. Follow-up nade is good, just chipping away again. Spirit getting this early chip damage, but forZe have shown some face over at A, and it has dragged the rotation. In fact, the third man of degster initially makes his way over, now looks to recoup into mid, and there are multiple players about to face on this angle, so he's got a lot of work to do here. Smoke goes in towards snipers as Jerry looks to swing, and this is setting up to be another one of these A splits. Patsy and Siren, they've done a solid job of repelling these thus far, but this one looks like it's going to be another one.
Yeah, I believe it's Siren who's currently focused in on towards this donut area where the majority of the players are coming from, but even then he's in towards the middle of the bomb site, as you can see, behind the big box. His teammate tucked in as well. It's not going to be easy for them to hold this one off. They're heavily committed in. They need to be winning out the fights, and, well, an incredibly well-timed molly, you've got to say, for Siren. Nice little spam on top of it, done some good damage to burn the first player down. Norvi will actually return back too, though, as he moves in towards the bomb site, with Patsy only good for one as well. So it allows for the bomb to actually be planted in a 3-on-3, but positioning here, as you can see, for Jerry, it's not really coming to him easily. He wanted to try and get a bit more aggressive on the angle, didn't want to fall back into donut. Instead stays up on the bomb site so that he can delay as they push in, hoping to be able to win out some fights. And he does take down Chopper before the op is good for the trade. But the important thing is they're starting to run that clock down. It's planted in for donut. I was going to say Norvi just needs to try and waste a bit of time. But no, fantastic trade. Zorte got the initial pick, and then of course, degster ready to go ahead and follow up onto him once he does indeed rattle off that op shot. There wasn't really much more to be done. Down to the wire, though, you've got to say. It seemed like it was set up perfectly for forZe. If Norvi had been able to at least just take the one kill and then tuck in towards Temple, there would have been almost nothing that could be done anymore on the retake.
Nice trades, doing simple things right, Spirit, and that's what you want to do when you're a new roster, when you're rostering transition and change. You just want to do the basics correctly, trading efficiently into the retake, isolating your fights, and then winning them as well, simple as that. forZe again, I think starting a little slow, a couple of sloppy fights here and there. We'll still be able to buy into this one, but their first opportunity to break that CT side economy is gone. This one a little more awkward as shalfey has to drop down onto the deagle. Very keen on taking this mid control and splitting off the back of it. Consistent focal point for that T side. Everybody just takes a breath. Exchange the initial nades. Couple of smokes down for the CT side. Locking out that lane vision for Zorte. Still poking around it though with nothing given yet. Drops his own smoke out towards long. Couple of players now looking to press the issue in towards snipers. degster on a timing will be able to find the first, and KENSI can't swing. Didn't have the angle to work with, so that's the opening man advantage for Spirit. Able to rotate a man towards B off the back of it, and now this becomes more and more difficult for forZe to really get anything done. degster is going to swing right into this, takes a lot of damage, but he's still alive and kicking. Still able to post on the angle as his nades start to chip away. Useless, the wallbang chipping away at him, but it's not doing enough damage, and this setup is so difficult to crack for forZe. They don't know where to look, they don't know what to hit. magixx has dealt with shalfey, Chopper is there from useless, and all of a sudden this has fallen apart. Zorte left last in the 1v5, they're going to hunt him, they're going to take that AWP away, and they will take a 6th round with it. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I mean, one kill in the end being found, at least for the op, it's not really much of a silver lining, especially now as they, again, are just going to be facing a full eco. Spirit have managed to again come out on top of that back and forth, and with that should be looking at 7 pretty easily. I mean, we've seen the weaker pistols, though, have some success already throughout this game. Especially back on Nuke, where forZe were able to actually win out one of those weaker buys. See what can be done here and now, rather, with a flash as well. I thought they might have hung on to that a little bit longer. Wanted, I think, to catch maybe the early lamp aggression. Keeping things, again, kind of spread out, though, despite being on the weaker weapons. I didn't really expect them to just go for a default off the back of this.
Feels like they want to get warmed up into it a bit, doesn't it? But nice flash in, punishment there. Clean as you like, opening man advantage and chip damage off the back of it as well. Norby down low. 3 players to swarm into mid, but this is going to be playing Duck Hunt for degster. Nice shot from Zorte. At least make sure his teammate's sacrifice isn't in vain. Jerry desperately wants to get his hands on that AWP, but he's not able to connect the shots. Chopper there to back it up, and with the low HP bars starting to become apparent, it's very difficult for forZe to do anything other than succumb to it. 7 on the board. Spirit CT side continues to function as intended. forZe using their first timeout because this is starting to get a little bit rough now. This is their map pick against a relatively unknown Spirit roster. They would have expected to be bossing this T side around a little more than they are.
Yeah, in fairness, I think if they can get up towards 6, it's still a decent enough position. But again, their track record on pistol rounds hasn't been fantastic today, and it's getting towards that position where the second pistol round is almost going to be a necessity for them. So they don't want to let too much more go here. The Bido, of course, coming back in. Zorte on the up. Everyone has their rifles, plenty of nades as well. There's nothing lacking, but it costs them everything, of course. So they'll need to try and start getting back into the game now. To be fair to them, though, they've done at least reasonable amounts of damage to not really allow that team spirit economy to get completely out of control. It has been kept relatively modest, especially on towards the likes of Chopper and Siren. I think we heard some ticking in the chat. Does that mean we're getting a bit of a stop here, unfortunately? It does look like it, yeah. I think we're having some issues, unfortunately.
That's an online CS classic, that is. The commentators hearing the sound of players typing in chat, followed by everyone sat in spawn. So we will be taking a little bit of a break as we work out what has gone wrong and get the match medic in and get the things fixed and ready to go again. But forZe, I think, will be a little disappointed with how these opening rounds have gone, to be honest. They've had their opportunities, they've had their chances, and it's felt very similar to that first half against Sprout at times. It's felt like they're just not quite on the same wavelength, right? They're not quite hitting their shots as they'd expect to. They're not quite landing how they'd like, and as a result, things are getting a little bit rough, and we have just been informed that one of the guys has timed out, so we'll be here for a minute while they get that fixed up and get back into the game, but gives us an opportunity to sort of look at it, and for forZe, I think you're right, 9-6, 10-5, you need that sort of a scoreline, right? When you're heading onto a CT side that you've had problems with today, you need a little bit more to work with.
Yeah, we've been a bit unfortunate with these technical pauses today. I think we're getting them more so than normally. Teams have not really been too shy with their tactical pauses either, so I guess that's made the pauses in general feel like they've been more often. We haven't had much in terms of actual time delay, though. That's one thing. They've been snappy. We've only been a minute or so usually. So hopefully that'll continue to be the case and we can get back into things before the feeling for the flow of how the game is going for Spirit gets broken. So at the moment they are looking pretty damn good. Will there be an up? Yeah, Zorte has his money there. I was seeing everyone else was obviously only sitting around 4.8, so I wasn't too sure how Zorte was going to be looking, but he'll have his up at least, even if I won't have too many nades behind it.
I don't know if I'd want him on it. You know, I don't know if I'd want Zorte on that AWP. It's a funny one because he's looked like their best rifler. He's looked like their best deagler, that's for sure. And he's looked like their best rifler on the AKs as well. And I think, in all honesty, it's felt more like the forZe system has struggled without him going on the rifle and getting 1 or 2, right? When he's AWPing, especially on T side of Ancient, it's not particularly easy to be a proactive AWPer. It never is on T side at the best of times, right? But on Ancient especially, there's only a handful of angles you can take And even the angles you're taking, you're more waiting to be peeked into than peeking into them, right? You've got the boost up angle over on B long. You've got cave if you really want to be playing enthusiastically. Then you got A long and you got mid. That's it. Those are the 4 angles you can post on, and every one of them you're posting on them and waiting for a repeat, much less peeking proactively. And it feels like a lot of what zorte is doing well is when he's got a rifle, he's wide swinging someone, and he's one-balling them, right? And he's taking their head off with the first couple of bullets. He's done it with the Deegs, he's doing it with the AKs, and when he falls back into that slightly, not massively, but slightly more passive AWPing role, it feels like forZe lack that player, right? They lack the wide swing, one tap, open up around by getting a couple of entries player, and they get a little stuck, and then you see these situations where zorte's in a 1v5 with an AWP, because all the other pieces haven't done anything, and he's not there to open up the gap.
True. I mean, even in the game earlier where he was finding a lot of success, it was pretty much just clutches that he was managing to get things done in. The 1v2s, he had the 1v3 as well. It was elsewhere really that we were looking for the entries and such. So we'll have to see what exactly he does decide to go towards once they get back into the action here, of course. But we're still lacking a player. So it seems like after I said we've been pretty decent with the length of the pause times, we unfortunately do get our longest one yet.
Why would you jinx it, Dean?
No, I was jinxing that at the time, but yeah, apologize. Touch wood. I touched those crates while we were going by. Don't worry.
We'll wait patiently for them to get their internet sorted out. It's KENSI who's out at the minute, by the looks of things. Although we all know the HUD can lie. It likes to fabricate the truth somewhat. I have never seen this hut before in my life.
Yeah, I mean, it's like the way you don't really look up in Palace, I suppose.
Yeah, oh, that freaked me out, that one. I mean, it's a bit sparse, isn't it, that hut? That looks like a Minecraft hut. There's not really very much going on, is there? There's some pillars and then a little bit of roof. Oh, come on, Valve. Like, my FPS is already garbage on Ancient. Just throw some models in here.
It's probably for, like a meditating hut or whatever. You bring your own little mat you put down. Something along those lines.
Yes, the ancient Aztecs, well known for bringing their yoga mats.
Yeah, when you're not having war with each other, you know, everyone needs to calm down sometimes, especially CS players.
Yeah, if you
Spirit,
couldn't tell,
not so much right now. They'd like to get this going before they really start cooling off. To be honest,
if you couldn't tell, Dean and I are really clutching at straws now because we haven't seen too much of this game, and we actually haven't had a chance to properly have a dig around Ancient. I haven't had a long tech pause in Ancient.
I didn't even know this was here right behind them, to be honest.
We'll see. As soon as we're like, we're going to start vibing, you know, we'll just go for a little explore, learn a little bit about Ancient on our jungle safari. You see KENSI pop back in, and then we get ready to go again. zorte immediately just buys full Kevlar and an AWP. He's just like, right, I know what I'm getting. Everyone else is still on Glocks. Nobody else is here. They're still going to reset the server, but zorte's just sending a message. He's just like, yep, I'm buying AWP full. Yep, there it is again. So, handful of AKs, AWP full Kevlar for zorte. Good amount of utility behind it. The problem is, like you said, they need to start having impact with these rifle buys. They've had a few. It's been sporadic around the edges. They now need to find some consistency with it.
Mm-hmm. To be fair, KENSI was nuts on that previous map. So if he can find some form back on that rifle and find the early openings and put kind of the pressure onto Team Spirit so that they're the ones who are maybe taking a bit more initiative than trying to re-aggress and such on that CT side, that's when zorte then gets the ability to really start shining on the op. Because if he's just posted up on an angle, like, he's the sort of player that just doesn't miss those ones. As the pause is finally removed, Wolfie, we're ready to get back into it now. As you were saying, zorte just kind of wanted to shut you up, like, how dare you doubt my op play. Pulls it straight out, and we'll see how aggressive he is now, whether he does rely on those rifles, as we were saying, to get this early work done. Nice little molly stack from the CTs, though, to push back forZe from being able to get early mid control. And it seems like with that, they want to pretty heavily favor over towards A very, very early on.
Good old smoke madness about to come through. Jerry creeping through one. Siren's just found the early opening though, and he's doubled it. Jerry will find one. But the problem is Siren's got 2 quick picks. And you can see again, zorte a little bit in the back lines as magixx gets the backstab onto Jerry, and another 2v4. zorte, He's posted. KENSI will find the first. degster on the angle is there for the re-peek, however, and it's quickly mopped away. Simple as that. Really nothing forZe can say or do. Jerry's idea in towards mid was nice. It was inventive, but other than that, they didn't really get out of A long. They were just trapped in A long this whole damn time. KENSI on the boost up manages to at least get one, but at that point, well, degster's back in and he's playing Duck Hunt. 8-4, only a handful of rounds left in the half. And I think forZe, we need to see a little something from them, right? They're back down onto the half by here. Tech-9s, Deagles, and Mac-10s. Looks like they want to go towards the B site, and it looks like Spirit know exactly what's coming their way.
Yeah, pretty tough round, probably. Sometimes when you have the freedom and I guess the less pressure of being on this weaker buy, things can be more dangerous to deal with. More risks and such being taken. That was a good hit though. Damn, Jerry took the brunt of it, but he wasn't the only one to be tagged up, so it's going to make things a bit more difficult here. It seems like with the kind of time that they're taking at this stage now, they are actually just going to be walking into a bit of a stack. 3 players already in position, a pretty nicely timed molly. I don't think will really be needed all that much either, as for now they do just continue to hold. I think they're trying to make Team Spirit doubt exactly what's going on, hoping that maybe even a player will push forward and gift them a rifle to work with. It doesn't seem like Team Spirit are really going to go for that though. I don't think they're biting.
They're not biting at all, and this is starting to become the problem now. The last of the smokes are going to go out with 50 seconds left. There is still a molly, but that's over on the A6. There's no more stalling utility, at least. Not that they really need it. 2 quick kills for Chopper. Maintains the cave control, and without that cave control, taking this B1 side becomes an absolute walking nightmare. The crossfires are well established. KENSI gets 1. We'll be able to double it down on the tech. That should at least get them the bomb plant. zorte to punch the digits in, but again, degster through the smoke, wall bang. KENSI low on HP, he's trying to do what he can. He's rattling around with that tech-9, and he's finding yet more damage. 3 kills in the round. It's not bad at all. It's just not quite enough. 9 on the board for Spirit. The CT side continuing to function well, and forZe continuing to struggle to break it.
Yeah, I mean, again, that round was the half buy, but I thought maybe we'd see them go a little bit more free-flowing, maybe try something quicker than that one, and it wasn't really the case. They kind of sat back outside of B as we've seen from them just in general on this D side. It was their approach up against Sprout to heavily favor over towards B. It was their approach here, especially in the initial few rounds before I think they realized they needed to at least pressure A to make it a bit less obvious. But they kind of just reverted back in that previous round. Good catch by shalfey though. Flash over from KENSI, caught Chopper out in the open as he was, I think, just hoping to try and tuck himself in the cubby there. Instead, it's the 5-on-4 for forZe early on. And as I had said, I think this is where zorte's up begins to become a little bit more viable, because it's Team Spirit who are considering aggression of their own. And in general, it is just going to be forZe ready, slowing things down and pairing up so that when this aggression does come in, that they'll at the very least be ready for the trade.
First time in a while they've had the man advantage. degster, nice position, missed shot. Goes back in for it, in fact, and shalfey is able to punish. So the man advantage becomes 2. Now they want to try and push the issue into dig. That's a beautiful little flashbang, and this is much more like it. Simple things done well for forZe. zorte in with another kill of his own, and that's the round. Simple as that. Looks like all forZe were really missing was an opening man advantage to work with at this point. Siren, yay, Anchor, nothing he can really do except skull cough deep into spawn. Maybe try and take a couple rifles away for the last round of the half. forZe will at least have 5. I think 10-5, 9-6. That's an acceptable T-side these days on a map like Ancient. Oh, nasty timing for zorte. Must be careful not to lose that AWP, and there's that trademark aim again. A second to his name, takes the last rifle away. Not that it will matter, but an opportunity to make something of this first half. We said we wanted to see their T-side shine. It certainly hasn't, but maybe they can put a little polish on it at the end.
Yeah, it's possible, but there is still just a pretty viable opportunity for Spirit as well themselves to end it with 10, so have to see whether it's the 9-6 or the 10-5. It does make a big difference, especially whether that pistol round, when that pistol round rather is taken into effect. There's some pretty good damages landed there on towards Patsy. To get, I believe, an early optic of his own, wasn't able to land, gets brought down low, but it will still be the first blood going the way of Team Spirit. As Chopper catches Jerry, and well, Norvi flashed off at the angle there when he may have had the initial opportunity on towards magixx. We've seen him a few times. It was early on when Norvi was, of course, kind of caught off guard by the forceplay that they had walked into on B. So a bit of deja vu maybe now as he starts working in, and they won't actually clear out that noob corner, leaving magixx to have a pretty straightforward frag. And the wall bank not quite on point either, so a man advantage, the 4-on-3. I was going to say one that they should be able to hang on to, but KENSI's caught degster going on a bit of a wild one.
Bought him a little bit of breathing room as well, with a player tagged up on either roster. If zorte can grab this kill, then this becomes very workable. The shoulder peek from Siren is good though, and zorte down to single digits. 6 HP, he's got to bail out of there. The molly will keep him quiet, and now 2 tagged up for forZe. 40 seconds left on the clock. Shalfey does well to find the kill. This makes it viable, but Patsy's been bogged down, and the AWP will sing for another kill. He posts himself. 28 seconds, can start to call for the rotation as well. The low HP bars won't matter so much for Patsy, but they will be bread and butter for magixx if he's even needed. KENSI, the next one to fall prey to the AWP, and Patsy knows the last man's low. He knows zorte is tagged up bad. magixx will put him down. 10-5. A solid first half for Spirit as they look for the recovery. We'll have to see if they can continue it after the break. Solid first half for Spirit, you have to say. 10-5 as we headed into the break. An opportunity now to extend that lead even further. And with dreams of Mirage on the horizon, forZe on the back foot of their map pick. Fast B hit looking to come in already. 5 players queued up, and they're actually going to go a little silent, making their way up this ramp. 3B site. As the cave aggression will be punished. Norby not able to find anything on those Julies initially. Be given his opportunity. Bomb looking to go down. Heavy retake setup already in play. 3 players for the CT side down towards that ramp. Got flash over the top. Not going to blind them up. Julie not landing the shots though. Shalfey there to bail him out for one. And now those Julies start to sing. Patsy edge of the smoke will find one to keep it interesting as magixx grabs another. And magixx grabs 3 out of absolutely nowhere. Just locks onto the heads to find Spirit. They're 11th and they're 5 rounds away from forcing Mirage.
Okay, damn, magixx. I thought it was looking a little bit scary there when they were stepping out into the crossfire, but yeah, once magixx pops off like this, it just doesn't even matter that Patsy's in the back lines. He does it all alone. What a round from Spirit, and yeah, as you said, just a quick B play. They slowed it for a second or two just so that the footsteps wouldn't be heard immediately, and then just swarmed as soon as those smokes were close to landing, basically. So a good round from Spirit, 11-5. They're going to extend that lead, and unless forZe manage to pull off something with this force buy here, then it likely will be 13-5 before we see the guns really coming into play. So Spirit are setting themselves up, as you said, for Mirage to bring it into that 3-map series, which we didn't really pegged them to. We thought it was going to be set up for forZe to take the 2-0 after stealing away that previous map, but Spirit look more than capable here on Ancient, as we can see so far.
Broly map working out well for the ball. He's tucked himself into the corner, praying to be left alone, and magixx, well, he's not going to let him. Early frag goes down. They're just prodding at the moment, not even looking to get the bomb down just yet. Shalfey has dealt with the rotator. The rifle recovered at the very least, but again, not much else they can do. Zorte on the scout, trying what he can, and he's actually going to connect the second. He's bought his team a lifeline here. Patsy's within one shot range for him, but it won't quite land. 2v2, Shalfey with the recovered rifle. How much can that do? The spray is awkward. He had to land it. He doesn't, and as a result, KENSI is left. 1v2. Both players are roughly a deagle shot from death, but he's got himself a recovered AK. Bomb is at his feet. 25 seconds left. He's got 2 angles to hold. It's going to be all on his timings, and he nearly lands it. Gets the first. 1v1 now. Siren, with just 10 HP, is looking for the headshot angle. He knows he's got to do something a little special. 15 seconds, and the headshot angle not quite landing. KENSI hits the one tap, and it's the hero of the hour. Zorte and KENSI, the youngsters combining. That scout absolutely singing. I mean, how does he even get away with this? Not once, but twice he swings his entire angle, and twice he finds connections. KENSI nearly getting caught off by the timing as well, but forZe are able to scrap their way back in.
Yeah, up close with a scout, that's ridiculous to get away with both of those shots. Nearly just straight up landed the collat on the first shot anyway. But good work by KENSI then as well in the end. He got a bit tense in that one-on-one, but he hit a nasty flick to finish it off. 6 rounds for forZe. They win out the force buy. I said without that there wouldn't really have been much hope at all. But now that they've made that work, as long as they can overcome the counter force from Spirit, then we should have a game on our hands. Map 2 looking like it may still shape up to be relatively competitive here. As it's a pretty secure buy as well, importantly for forZe. They've gone heavy in on the rifles. They have the AK obviously carried over, a couple M4s, a FAMAS, and an MP9. So they do have those couple of weaker weapons as well there to kind of fill out the slots. But overall, they've got weapons to ensure that they won't be outgunned, I guess is the way to put it. Jerry, though, he's pretty aggressive considering he's only got the MP9. There is Kevlar on pretty much all of these players. I'm not sure how big of a fan I am of this play, but I guess with the players peeking in on ramp as well, his function was really just to serve as a distraction, and he does that perfectly, and even comes in to get a couple of kills in the end and add some money to the bank. Given a 7th round pretty easily there to forZe.
Yeah, I think his job is more to peek for info, even if he dies, than it is to take long-range fights with the MP9, right? You can see when he peeks, he spots out 2, and at that point, he knows they're going to be playing something late into the lanes, trying to take that B site, so he can call for the rotations, he can call for his teammates to swing on the same timing as him, so the players have got to hold 2 angles at once. And, well, that's exactly what they do. This time, though, Spirit with just the Glocks, they're going to be rushing out onto this A site. KENSI in a little bit of trouble here. The timing a little awkward for him. He's only going to get 1. Molotov does go down, and it gets chip damage onto a few players. Luckily, Shalfey there to start picking up the pieces early, and he's managed to drop the bomb in no man's land, so it will be quickly mopped up. For a split second there, it looked awkward, but the rotations are in quickly to secure it.
Yeah, as you said, not really too much trouble, even if it looked like there might have been for a few seconds. Shalfey took out that final player there, just about hanging onto his life as well, so they kept the 4 standing. Ideal as well for the economy. You see Zorte is really the only one who has no money left in the reserve. Everyone else pretty much has that buy locked in. So we'll give them a bit of wiggle room. But ideally at this score, with it still being 11-8, they don't really want to be dropping around as of yet. They want to keep this momentum building. They want to keep narrowing things down. Did he land the shot there, or what the hell happened? Yeah, wasn't too sure.
It was the counter wallbang into the useless corner.
From Jerry, was it?
Yeah, so he's sat in useless and he's wallbang magixx as he's looking to line it up down to 12.
Unfortunate. If only he had an AK as well, it probably would have been a straight up kill. Okay, I like this aggression. Degster was watching for it. I was going to say magixx might have got caught off guard. Already been on low health as well, but with Degster falling either way, it's, well, just kind of spiraling out of control for Spirit. A low health player, a 4-on-5 with that as well. And it doesn't really seem to dissuade forZe from continuing their aggression either. I think they're taking Lamp's control. Actually moved back in with 2 players.
Jerry must have heard the damage he did onto magixx, knew that if he pushed, likelihood was he either gets the low HP player or the low HP player can't swing for the refrag. Now, the AWP having a little bit of a field day. Patsy does deal with his support lines, but again, quickly traded away. They have actually left the A site open. Now, this frightens me because Spirit are going to head in, and they're going to head into a wide open A site. All 4 players for forZe over towards B, starting to clear it out. They're going to play a straight retake at this point, as magixx will clear the site. Siren ahead of him to confirm that it's open. And here we go. Bomb will be planted. magixx on 12 HP, so only really a bullet from death. It's going to be on Siren to do a lot of the work here. He's tucked himself in tight. We've seen this angle work out for KENSI previously. Jerry just starting to bait the sound cues, buying time for his teammates. As Norway and KENSI look to go for the take in towards Donut. They've got that Donut control now, and you can see Siren aware. He's got to hold 2 angles at once. Can't land either of them. magixx with a nice headshot for 1, but he's got to get 3 more on 12 HP, and he's just backing away. He knows as soon as that smoke goes down on him, he's done for. So he'll be happy to save that AK-47. It was an interesting setup called by forZe, but it works out well for them. The retake lands. They have their 9th, and with that saved rifle, the buy's still going to be a little awkward for the T side.
Yeah, I mean, at least they have that AK to rock, and with the bomb going down, it will just about give them enough to go ahead and buy around it. But you can see a Galil on Chopper just so he can get a few nades behind it. He could have just about scraped out the AK and the Kevlar, but some utility to work with. Patsy going to track straight out for that. Molly does spot out KENSI, who was blind in the smoke and isn't really able to escape, unfortunately, before being spotted out by Patsy. That's going to be the early advantage for Spirit, something that they've lacked over these past couple of rounds, but it doesn't last very long. Patsy, I mean, what, half a second earlier, he likely would have made it in unspotted. Zorte now in on the back of the bomb site, playing from the temple with the up is going to take out magixx. One of the heroes of this game so far, I would say, and he just pops them all one by one, making it look easy. That is the advantage of Temple back there. You can isolate those one-on-ones so easily, and with the up, then it makes it so difficult to go ahead and get those trade frags unless you time it just kind of perfectly on the peak so that you catch them between shots.
One smoke, and that whole area is locked off, but they just don't have it. They just don't have the utility.
They did on degster, he was miles away though. So.
Yeah, he's not going to be landing a smoke from there. I know there's some pretty nice skyboxes on Ancient, but he's not going to be landing a smoke from mid deep into Temple. And the problem is at that point, if you're not going to smoke it, then Zorte, it basically is an AWPer's paradise, right? Because he falls back, picks another angle, and there's about 17 of them in towards Temple that he can choose from. So he just falls back and slowly rotates through the angles, continues to take the 1v1s as they're offered up. Gap starts to narrow even further, and Spirit, well, they start to feel a little on edge. They've let forZe back into this game, and forZe, well, they've taken it, to be fair to them, with open arms. This one's going to be another rush play, or at least the plan was for it. The Molotovs will slow things down, and Spirit will start to set up their utility. They've got smokes. They've got flashes as well. 1 smoke, 1 molly, 2 flashes. And they've lost all lane control, so it'll be interesting to see if they want to use a flash to retake into lane. No, instead they're just going to creep their way out, aware that they need these flashes for the site itself. Looking to play contact as they make their way up. Now the smoke come out, now the molly. They isolate the fight. It's always good for 1, and he gets good damage onto the second, which shalfey will take advantage of. 3 quick kills, only 1 pound on the trade. Shalfey wait for the teammates for the flashes to come in. It's beautifully played by forZe. This was the CT side I expected to see against Sprout. Really starting to find its feet. That retake, beautifully orchestrated. Norway does what he can. He does enough. And shalfey then plays this so nicely. Just waits for the flash to come in. And as soon as the players are blind, well, it's just a shooting gallery.
Maybe they're aware of the fact that they're only capable of putting in 1 good T side and 1 good CT side on Ancient per day, so they like strategically put 1 in each game. Maybe that's what it is, because I can't understand otherwise why they were so good on T side in that last game, went missing here, and now they're doing the flip side here on their CT side. It's weird. Either way, though, it does show you that it really matters from game to game and how those styles clash against each other as well as the boost comes up for shalfey. Not an approach we had seen, I don't think, in their game versus Sprout earlier. And it is a relatively common boost, but it's not used often enough to really be expected, as you see in there. A double spray down, a 5-on-3, and a bit of a desperate situation, if I'm being honest, for Team Spirit.
Again, that's just protocols. That's just, you've got to have someone watching that. Got to have someone holding that angle. Making sure that you aren't going to be peeked over the top. Instead, well, it's a mow down for shalfey, and now 2-on-5, just trying to transfer to the A side. It's getting difficult. Zorte and KENSI combine. Lovely stuff. forZe take the lead and just 4 rounds away from finding that 2-0 that was looking so damn elusive after the first half of Ancient.
Yeah, I didn't think it was going to be possible, honestly, especially once that pistol round was dropped. I thought Mirage was pretty much all but confirmed, but now it's beginning to fade away a little bit again. Maybe it wasn't there after all. We weren't quite seeing it. Down on this weaker buy, it means we are going to get a bit of a quicker paced one, at least from Team Spirit. Charge up towards lamps, move quickly in towards B, and we'll see if this is the correct call. There's actually a response from forZe to aggress down ramp, and well, it seems to be the right call, because with 3 players heavily stacked in towards the lamps, now they've got them pinched in. shalfey probably doesn't want to stay up too close there up against those pistols, and actually Norvi on the flank is going to get dropped by Siren. Suddenly there's going to be a rifle to be recovered, and a bit of an awkward situation here for forZe that they need to be careful in.
To be very cautious. Jerry's extended. Long way from home, and as that smoke starts to fade, he'll be exposed to multiple angles.
I don't think that's what he meant to do. Maybe it was.
A little isolated there. He's got to bail out, and he knows it. Pulls back behind the smoke. KENSI's flank could be everything here as they start to queue up. 2 men into the cave. If KENSI can time it well, he'll have the backstab on the entirety of the cave hit. Siren is half watching for it. They're flicking between the angles, and that will leave an opening for KENSI. Nice little flash in. 35 seconds. KENSI now. Timing perfect. Gets the first, and Chopper's actually isolated with the bomb now. He's stuck in towards that lane as the exec utility comes in. The 2 players will pop out of the cave. Spray through the smoke, not quite going to connect, and Chopper will actually be able to get up. Now Jerry's spray through the corner of that smoke does find it. Chopper trying to plant, will be able to get away, but shalfey is there to back his teammate up as he reloads. Jerry survives to live another day. They get the plant spirit. That was what they were after, but a 4v1 for Chopper. That bomb out in the open should be defused by one of these CTs now. Jerry's going to get his hands on it, aware that he's got teammates to cover him from all sides. And that lead of the CT side will extend 13-11. forZe just 3 rounds away from getting it done.
It's closing in now on Team Spirit, unfortunately, after what had been such a good performance. They just hit a brick wall repeatedly, face first. It's not going well. But they are at least able to afford it again. I mean, that's the one positive of being on the T side. Especially if you can get those bombs down alongside that loss bonus. The buys are not going to be difficult to come by. But it's not going to be enough if you can't start actually winning some rounds. And well, an entry from degster might be the change-up that they need. He doesn't unfortunately get to stay alive afterwards as he's traded out by shalfey. But magixx, I was going to say, is in a decent position here where if Jerry was to go aggressive, he could have been in trouble. But no, he expects it. The nade in, he had already taken the man in the background as well. And by the time he eventually falls, Jerry's already given them a very firm 3 versus 2 that's extended even further in their favor by Zorte, leaving only Siren, and well, he's about to walk into the up here. I don't think he heard the noise of the smoke. Just sit and duck as it's 14-11 now in favor of forZe, taking that gun round with ease, and I think there's multiple players on 16,000 right now. That's how dominant this has become.
Starting to get very, very ugly indeed. forZe's CT side firing on all cylinders, and Spirit just not having the response. Calling the timeout feels like the right move to make. Just completely mentally reset. This buy may well decide your fate, may well decide if you are already done in the ESL Challenger Anaheim EU closed qualifiers, or if you will live to fight another day. Eternal Fire next up on the chopping block for the winner of this. Zorte again, absolutely flying, but he's got teammates there. He's got supporting numbers. shalfey and KENSI putting up some pretty serious stats as well, and Spirit need to find a way to silence them now. Going for the early control. It's going to be degster actually posting ahead of the Molotov, and Jerry not expecting it, but the trade is immediate. zorte. Jerry can't land it. He will. The AWP are able to find the refrag to keep it even in the 4-on-4. Question is, what does Spirit want to do with it? Starting to probe into cave with the utility, but the retake is being set up. Norway, with the support in tow, is actually just wallbanging Chopper down right as he looks to escape, and zorte will be allowed to post on the angle as a result. Timings are going to be everything now. As you can see, Spirit really just lacking any real map control. Patsy chewing on damage through that smoke, down to 23. Not that KENSI will know it. All three from Spirit looking to group up, looking to take Donut. They know they've got to try something different. They've lost all control over towards B. It will be that A site setup. Shalfey will be the first problem, starting to creep his way into Temple now. He looks for the swing, he lines them up, he knocks them down. Oh, damn, 3 of them. Spray down, perfect from Shalfey. Nobody able to respond from Spirit. That had to be traded immediately, and the spray down is just too clean. The connection too swift. One more round required as forZe continuing to assert and dominate on the CT side of Ancient.
Yeah, crisp as hell. Full confidence there as well that he was going to land the transfer. You could see it, and this has just been mad. Honestly, it seemed like at the halftime Spirit had it locked in. They went out the pistol again, and forZe win a force and just don't look back. They just keep it on going from that point forward. This has been an insane showing so far, and we'll see whether Team Spirit have anything at all to say on this T side, because so far there hasn't really been a peep from them.
It really hasn't.
And they're just sticking to this default.
Able to respond.
It doesn't look like it's a map they're well versed on, if I'm going to be honest, on this T side.
This is the thing with these younger rosters, right? We were talking about how you got 2 callers, you're lacking firepower. You're not going to have had much time to work things out with this particular 5-stack, let alone come up with a comprehensive game plan on how to beat forZe on Ancient. This is their second best of 3 of the day, after all. Lone smoke creeps its way into snipers. KENSI counters with a little utility of his own, and with a little over 40 seconds left on the clock. Spirit look a little splintered. Couple of players probing the ideas in towards mid. Bomb is outside of the B doors, so that is where this hit will end up. degster hoping for a speculative wallbang, but no such luck. Timing on this is going to be everything. Patsy is there to cut away the rotations. He will lurk through and try and stop those 2 men from making their way over towards B as this hit starts to come in. Utility is good. Jerry and Norby will have to hold this from cave as the smoke is going to go in and start to lock Shalfey out. He's stuck on his angle. zorte gets one. Trades are good for the CT side. Norby swings wide to keep getting more purchase, and it's all on the last man. Nothing Siren can do. He does well to get a kill, but it's 16-11. It is forZe who find themselves the clean 2-0. They make it look a little awkward at times. I thought Spirit were going to force this to a third as that T side really did fire on all cylinders, but this was the round. It was zorte on